A struggle for democracy in the streets of Nepal. After weeks of angry protest, Nepal's king fires his government and promises reform. But moments later, a new round of deadly violence as police open fire on 200,000 demonstrators. Welcome to the International Hour. I'm Dave Michaels at the CNN Center in Atlanta. More on the political shakeup and violence in Nepal shortly.
And at CNN Center in Atlanta, I'm Bobby Batista. Our top story in Nepal, government forces fired on thousands of pro-democracy demonstrators today. At least 44 people were killed. Hospitals and witnesses in the capital of Kathmandu say at least 200 other people were wounded when police and soldiers fired on some 200,000 demonstrators. The shooting erupted as the angry demonstrators marched toward the palace of King Birendra. For weeks, Nepalese have protested the country's non-party political system. The violence today occurred shortly after King Birendra dismissed the government and promised talks with pro-democracy leaders. Opposition leaders rejected the offer and vowed to continue the fight for a multi-party political system.
One witness said it was a bloody mess. In Nepal today, police opened fire on 200,000 pro-democracy demonstrators marching toward the royal palace in the capital city of Kathmandu. Protesters and police also clashed in other parts of the country. There are conflicting reports on the number killed, ranging from 17 to 50. The violence occurred shortly after Nepal's king, Birendra, fired his government and promised talks with pro-democracy activists. He then named a new four-member cabinet. But Nepal's citizens fighting for democracy rejected the king's gestures and vowed to keep up their struggle. CNN's Mark Leff has some background on Nepal and the crisis there.
Nepal is one of the world's most beautiful countries and one of the poorest. In the 60s, Westerners used to go there seeking enlightenment. Some still go seeking the challenge of climbing the world's highest mountains. For the past 2 months, thousands of Nepalese have been seeking democracy after decades of absolute monarchy. And the government in power until the king fired it Friday has responded by firing on crowds of demonstrators, killing or wounding hundreds and arresting thousands. To millions of people in Nepal, King Birendra is a god, the reincarnation of Vishnu. He's also Nepal's first Western-educated monarch, who spent his childhood in exile and inherited a system of government that provides for a parliament and occasional elections, but that says he is the ultimate law. Street demonstrations are nothing new to him. 11 years ago, he ended a 7-week student revolt through a referendum. The people picked a system of government that gave him complete control. There have been no legal political parties in Nepal for 30 years. But a rapidly growing opposition movement led by the Nepali Congress Party has been demanding democracy through a series of rallies and strikes, closing down many businesses in a nation already hit hard by an ongoing trade dispute with neighboring India. With slogans reminiscent of the democracy demonstrations in China a year ago, thousands of university students have joined the democracy demonstrations. Western observers charge the government has been using widespread torture to put down the protests. And they say it's been misusing U.S. government-funded cars and trucks to transport police and the people they arrest. The king now promises to have his new prime minister start talking to the opposition. But its response is that his promised reform doesn't go far enough. There was traditional dancing and celebration in Nepal when Crown Prince Dipendra came of age. But some traditions are dying. This man says police killed his boy during a recent demonstration. I used to think of the king as a god, he says. I don't believe that anymore.